call the regular Thursday, March 10th legislative meeting in session at 2 o'clock. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Michael Yerdon.
Here.
Herbert Yerdon.
Present.
Edward Gilson.
Here.
David Holst.
Here.
Roy Freehill.
Here.
John Martino has been marked absent and excused. Frank Bombardo.
Here.
Paul House.
Here.
James Weatherup.
Here.
Mary Ellen Chesbrough.
Present.
Linda Lockwood.
Here.
Richard Klein.
Present.
Patrick Twist.
Here.
Stephen Walpole.
Here.
Nathan Emmons.
Here.
James Scanlon.
Here.
Lori Nagano.
Here.
Robert Wilmot.
Here.
Marie Schad.
Here.
Tim Stahl.
Here.
Noel Samuelson.
Here.
James Karasik.
Here.
Michael Soloway.
Here.
Mark Greco.
Here.
Frank Castilla.
Wouldn't miss it.
Mr. Chairman, that's 24 present, 1 excused. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Would the clerk please lead us in the invocation?
May we give strength and support as our world is unrest. Let us be thankful for this opportunity to serve our community. May we use only our best skills and judgment, keeping ourselves impartial and neutral as we consider the merits and pitfalls of each matter that is placed before us, and always act in accordance with what is best for our community and our fellow citizens. Grant us clarity, courage, and resolve, and above all, we ask for guidance in all that we do. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We could remain standing for a moment of silence for the people of Ukraine. Thank you. Legislator Emmons.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to recess until 2 p.m. on March 16th due to the current water main break affecting the county building.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Legislator Castillo.
The only thing I would say, Mr. Chairman, legislative, I would rather see that adjourned until 7 o'clock on that day. I know some of us still work, and I had to reschedule everything to be able to get these days off. So I would like to make a motion to have it be at 7 o'clock, not at 2 o'clock.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
I would second that.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to amend. Any other discussion on amending it to 7?
It would be so much easier.
All those in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, back to the original. We have a motion made to put it in recess till next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 22 in favor, 2 opposed, and 1 excused.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Michael Yerdon.
Present.
Herbert Yerdon.
Present.
Edward Gilson.
Here.
David Holst.
Here.
Roy Freehill.
Here.
John Martino.
Here.
Frank Bombardo.
Here.
Paul House.
Here.
James Weatherup.
Here.
Mary Ellen Chesbrough.
Here.
Linda Lockwood.
Here.
Richard Klein.
Present.
Patrick Twist.
Here.
Stephen Walpole.
Here.
Nathan Emmons.
Here.
James Scanlon.
Here.
Lori Nagano.
Here.
Robert Wilmot. Robert Wilmot has been excused. Marie Schad.
Here.
Tim Stahl has been marked excused. Noel Samuelson has been marked excused. James Karasik has been marked excused. Michael Soloway.
Here.
Mark Greco.
Here.
Frank Castilla.
Wouldn't miss it.
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 present and 4 excused. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Legislator Emmons.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to come out of recess.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Would the clerk now lead us in the invocation?
During these unsettled times, may we pray for our friends and family in Ukraine. Let us be thankful for the gift of each day and for the examples of courage and dedication that we all live by. Help us to remember that we all wish for a healthier, happier tomorrow. Grant us clarity of purpose and protect us from all distractions. Amen.
Amen.
Now, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I trust we have seen the minutes from the February 10th meeting. Looking for appropriate motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
All right, thank you. If we could have the Health Committee come forward at this point. We're going to pronounce that the month of March is Problem Gambling Awareness Month.
That's true. There may be some others in the room that may be a more appropriate person to be reading this proclamation, but I'll give it a go. It is probably gambling words. But anyways, whereas the National Council on Problem Gambling, the New York Council on Problem Gambling, and the Central Problem Gambling Resource Center have designated March 2022 as Problem Gambling Awareness Month. Now therefore, I, James Weatherall, Chairman of the Oswego County Legislature, and on behalf of the entire legislature, do hereby recognize March 2022 as Problem Gambling Awareness Month. That's it.
Can I have you take a half step to your right?
I can.
And then have you two follow?
Much
Thank you.
better.
Is this been that? Thank you very much. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Actually, I'm going to have her, you can switch with her. I'm going to.
There you go. Now we got it.
Okay. Everybody ready?
I don't want to stand
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And a second. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Legislator Emmons, is there any introduction to visitors today?
There are none.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to resolutions and motions. Government Courts and Consumer Affairs, Resolution GC1 by Legislator Holt.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution for its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution in opposition to Senate Bill S7855 as it relates to the membership of the Board of Directors of the Western Regional Off-Track Betting Corporation.
Typically, the state actually wants to take away one member for our county, and we would become, there would be 3 counties represented by 1 person. We're definitely in opposition to that.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution GC2 by Legislator Holtz.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Board of Elections, electronic poll books.
This is where we have to get electronic poll booths to hand out to the rest of our election boards, so that when people are voting on the ballots, they have to be turned in, I believe, every 4 days, and that they're turned into the other booths, so nobody can vote twice. The name is registered.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution GC3 by Legislator Holt.
Offer this resolution for urgent adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
A resolution fixing time and place for a public hearing relative to proposed County of Oswego Local Law Number 1 of 2022, entitled "A Local Law Providing for the Partial Tax Exemption of Certain Real Property Owned by Persons 65 years of age and over."
Pretty much held everything that there is in that heading. It's for people with lower incomes and stuff, you get a reduced tax. And that would have to be filed for the income file for your other taxes.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Castillo.
Yes, Chairman, I'm in favor of this resolution, but I don't think it goes far enough. And therefore, I'd like to amend Resolution GC3. I would like to replace the monetary guidelines with age guidelines as follows. Everybody should have a copy in front of them right now, and that's what I would like to do.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Mr. Chairman, aren't we just voting on a public hearing, not the actual resolution, not the actual intent of the resolution itself? Wouldn't that discussion and amendments be better served?
That is correct, sir.
Thank you.
Legislator Castillo.
I think we had the discussion before that when you're going to have a public hearing, everything that's in the public hearing has to be as such. You know, after the public hearing or at the public hearing, if you want to change anything at the public hearing, you have to have a second public hearing to discuss the changes, the amendments that you make to it on that day. So what I'm asking for is I'm asking to make those amendments now so there will only be one public hearing. I understand what you're saying, you know, Mr. Edmund, but it's a point that you make the resolution and you make the amendments now so you don't have to do it twice. We don't like to chew our cud twice.
Thank you. We have a motion made and a second. Any discussion on the amendment? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Back to the original motion then. Any other discussion on that? All in favor? Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 20 in favor, 1 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution GC4 by Legislator Holt.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
A resolution fixing time and place for a public hearing relative to proposed County of Oswego Local Law Number 2 of 2022, granting a partial tax exemption for qualifying persons with disabilities under Real Property Tax Law 459-C.
And this is basically the same thing, but it's going to be for people qualifying with disabilities, you know, with property tax.
Thank you.
Same
Any-
guidelines.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Moving on to Public Safety Committee, Resolution PS1 by Legislator Greco.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification E911 microwave upgrade.
It's just a budget modification. We already approved this. It's just to pay for it.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Moving now to Human Services Committee, HS1 by Legislator Rehill.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification, Department of Social Services, to transfer funds to SNAP, employment and training.
This budget modification is in the amount of $5,000 due to the increase in costs associated with the new CSEA contract. There's no local share.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 3 excused.
Thank you. Resolution HS2 by legislator Rito.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification, Department of Social Services to accept Code Blue New York State aid.
This is to accept and distribute $138,777 in New York State Code Blue aid used for emergency homeless sheltering and the Victory Transformation Warming Center.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution HS3 by legislator Rito.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification, Department of Social Services to transfer funds to legal fees.
It's a $45,000 transfer to use for contract attorney's fees since we are down 2 attorneys in the office of DSS.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution HS4 by legislator Rito.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing acceptance for rental supplement program and creation of 1 temporary social welfare examiner position in the Department of Social Services.
This is a new rental supplement program, and this will allow us to accept and distribute $432,808, 15% of which will be used to create 1 temporary position as a social welfare examiner to help distribute this money. There's no local share. If we end up with an employee with good potential at the end of this temporary term, we'll likely have an open position for that person, because we have so many openings right now.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution HS5 by legislator Rito.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification, Department of Social Services to accept New York State Systems Change and Inclusive Opportunities Network Award.
This resolution is to accept and distribute $78,033.31 of federal funding to help individuals with disabilities back into the workforce. There's no local share.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution HS6 by legislator Rito.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution appointing members to the Oswego County Child Protection Advisory Council.
CPAC, as we call it, was created to advise the legislature and through the Human Services Committee. The membership includes an interesting group of people, an ER doctor, school administrators, school board members, social workers, nonprofit participants from Farnham, Huntington Family Services, OCO, the YMCA, Liberty Resources, Catholic Charities, United Way, BOCES, the Child Advocacy Center, foster parents themselves, and our directors of DSS, the Health Department, the Youth Bureau, and our DA. So I'd just like to add that we met for the first time since October of 2020 through post-COVID last Monday, the 14th, and it was an extremely informative meeting. I have reports from that meeting if anybody would like copies.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Moving now to Economic Development Planning Committee, legislator Emmons.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution appointing members to the Oswego County Soil and Water Conservation District Board of Directors.
Let's make a second run at this and see if we can get these folks through this time around. Linda Larkwood, Mary Ellen Chesborough, and Thomas Bonavetsky.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Mr. Chairman, that's 18 in favor, 4 excused, and 2 abstained.
Thank you. Resolution EP2 by legislator Chesbro.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution fixing time and place for a public hearing relative to the requests of landowner inclusion within the existing certified agriculture district pursuant to the New York State Agriculture and Markets Law, Section 303-B as amended.
Mr. Chairman, this is simply having a date and time for the hearing for those landowners that applied for Ag District from January 1 to January 31st of this year. And Farmland Protection is meeting on the 18th of this month to approve them, and we'll be bringing forth the names.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Before legislator Emmons does the health, I'm remiss, I did not mention, we do have COVID test kits in the rear of the room. If you need some, be respectful of your neighbors, but take whatever you need. They're in the back corner. Thank you. Legislator Emmons, E1.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing Health Department reclassification of RN position to educational specialist.
It's a simple reclassification of the position. There is no impact on the budget. The RN positions have been consolidated within the Department of Health, and thus but these functions are still necessary under this division, and so it is a reclassification to educational specialist.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Moving down to infrastructure, facilities, and technology, legislator Walpole, IT1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution to transfer funds from insurance recovery fund into other supplies and expenses.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, this is from going to the insurance recovery fund. This is for the incident with the highway department recovering the stolen articles. It's the insurance company paying back, going back into the line.
Understood. Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution IT2 by legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution to transfer funds from insurance recovery fund into highway expenses.
Once again, Mr. Chairman, this is from an incident at the next plant. There was some damage to a vehicle, and this is the insurance check going back into the driver line.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution IT3 by legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the chairman to execute an agreement between the County of Oswego, the Federal Aviation Administration, and New York State Department of Transportation.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, like in the past, we're submitting a grant application for future projects at the airport. This state.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution IT4 by legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and encourage its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution establishing capital project number 0222 to rehabilitate runway 6-24 construction phase at the Oswego County Airport.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is establishing the capital project, which if we are granted the funds, we will rehabilitate the runway 624 in the construction phase.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Castillo.
Mr. Chairman, fellow legislators, over the past 6 years and then this year, I have always questioned the use of taxpayer money, and in the tune of, I think, we're well over $1 million already. We're not committed on the airport. And you've got 42 people that are Oswego County residents that have planes out there. And we have 117,000 people in the county. So 117,000 to 43,000 taxpayers are paying for 42 people's luxury of having an airplane. I know that the airport should be privately run. I'm not saying shut down the airport. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it should not be owned by the county. And therefore, I will not be in favor of this. I just can't see spending that kind of money. I know it's always 5%, we're only paying 5%. But that 5% adds up. And the 5% the state puts in, that adds up too, and that's still taxpayer money. And taxpayer money should go for services for the taxpayers, not to fund an airport. It should be privately run. I've talked with the Williamson Airport. They are, people have told me if you want to see a very beautiful airport, you go to Williamson. Okay? Our airport, it's run good. I'm not saying anything about our airport not being run properly and not being run by the right people. All I'm saying is it should not be run by the county. That's why I'm not voting in favor of this.
Thank you. Legislator Schott.
I guess Frank covered my thoughts on this. I just wonder when we hit the bottom here. I mean, you won't even raise the rates to keep these planes. I mean, to board a horse, you're talking $700 to $800 a month. To hang a plane, it should be a lot more than $225 to $250 a month. That just seems absurd to me.
Thank you.
That's what I have to say.
Any other legislator Castillo?
I go back to 5 years ago, I believe, maybe it was only 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, when we purchased the super hangar.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. Continue, Mr. Castillo.
At that time, I asked when we were going to be in the black on the airport, and if this was going to help us. And it was stated that it would. But we are still running in the red. There's only one airplane in there. And I go back, services for taxpayers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 19 in favor, 2 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution IT-5 by Legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the following resolution, move its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution establishing capital project number 0322, airport terminal furniture.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, as we know, with our upgrade at the airport, when we did the terminal building, some things changed with the pricing, and our airport director was able to keep it under budget, keep it within his budget, even with the rising costs of things. And at the tail end, once everything, he brought it in complete, so he needed more money for the furniture and stuff. Cut it close, but didn't have enough for the furniture.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Schott.
Mr. Chairman, there's a 3-project total here of taxpayer share for $692,000. Now, $60,000 for furniture. Are we hiring Louis Vuitton? Who are we getting to do this? I mean, again, if a business doesn't make it in 7 years, you make it go away. And the airport has demonstrated that it's going to do nothing but drain us of funds till eternity. Thank you.
Any other? Legislator Castillo.
This is $60,000 coming out of the unappropriated fund balance. There isn't any place else that we got within the budget of the airport that we can move the money out of instead of, that's another good reason why you say no on it, sorry.
Thank you. Any other legislator Walpole?
Though I understand the concern of Legislator Castillo and Legislator Schott, as we know, there's been a lot of improvements at the airport, and it's a little bit more than just the 42 people, private people that are there. There's some large industry in this area that utilizes that airport, as well as their emergency management things that are also handled out there. And a lot of the improvements, things that do benefit the community, like the field trips that the kids take to go out there. I know that's not a big money maker thing, but he's slowly bringing things up to really get the community more involved. And I mean, to get $3.5 million worth of work for $170,000, I think it's a good way to go.
Agreed. Thank you. Any other discussion? Legislator Castillo.
Still, neither Legislator Schott or myself said that the airport wasn't being run properly and that it wasn't a good area for people to come into the airport. But to point out that Exelon or anybody needs the airport, still the airport would be there because it's privately run. All we're saying is it should not be run by the county. So it's all, the only disagreement we have on that, it should not be run by the county, but taxpayer money from the county. Services, it's not providing a service. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Legislator Greco.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, I would just like to respond to that. Last 2 or 3 months ago, we had a medical flight fly my mother-in-law at that airport, into that airport. If it wasn't there, we wouldn't have been able to do it. So I do disagree with you on the fact that it doesn't serve this community. You might not need it every day, but certainly it does serve the entire community at times.
I think of it as an amenity, much like a pool at a hotel. You might stay at that hotel if the amenities are there. You might locate your business or keep your business here if you have a properly functioning airport. Any other discussion? Legislator Castillo, stay on point and
I'm
continue.
going to stay on point. We have not said to close the airport. We have said it should not be run by the county. It should be a privately run airport. It would be there for any emergency, landings, anything like that. We're saying it should be run by a private sector. It would be put on the tax rolls for volume, services. Yes, the services will still be there if it's run by a private industry. I'm not saying close the airport. Yes, keep it, but keep it private, not public.
I would offer that there's a great number of counties that do not have an airport, and I'm proud that we do. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 19 in favor, 2 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Being no resolutions for finance and personnel, any unfinished business? Legislator Reynolds.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to go into executive session related to a matter of the town of Mexico versus the county of Oswego.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Call this back into session. Legislator Reynolds.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to waive the rules of the legislature for the consideration of EP3, EP4, EP5, and IT6 only.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you. EP3 by Legislator
Mr. Chairman, I present this resolution and I urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution setting a public hearing regarding proposed local law number 3 of 2022, a local law authorizing the provision of mass transportation and the establishment of mass transportation facilities within the county of Oswego.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is necessary in order for us to have mass transportation and facilities for mass transportation. We need to have a local law. So this is to set the date and hearing in order for us to do that.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution EP4 by Legislator Shedrow.
Chairman, I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution fixing time and place for public hearing relative to an application to New York State Office of Homes and Community Renewal for assistance through the New York State CDBG program with funding made available through the CARES Act, which will assist Oswego County farms in providing safe living conditions for housing critical workforce employees, and to review and update the use of NYSCDBG funding, Oswego County CDBG program income housing action plan. That was a mouthful.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is offering, we're looking for a hearing in order to let local farmers to apply for a grant that will allow them to get money for housing for their migrant workers. And it is nothing off of us. In fact, we'll be getting some money for administration fees for this grant.
Understood. Thank you.
The federal regulations require the hearing be held in front of the legislature.
Gotcha. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution EP5 by Legislator Chesbro.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
A resolution appointing a certain individual to the Oswego County Industrial Development Agency.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, now that our legislative person, Morris Sabello, is no longer able to serve on that board, well, the Economic Development Committee would like to present Mark Greco as his replacement. And one of the reasons that we, other than we love Mark, and understand, it is his agricultural background, because we feel just as in the emblem of Oswego County, there is a plow on there, and therefore we do need some agricultural voice on the committee. Hence, we would suggest Mark Greco.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Which one is Mark now?
I don't know, I think he's the guy next to Frank.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, it's 20 in favor, 1 opposed, or no, 0 opposed, and 1 abstained, and 4 excused.
Thank you, Mr.
He
Chairman.
could have voted against himself.
Thank you.
I know.
I'm sure you'll serve us well. And now also, I would like to thank Morris Sabello for his years of service in replacing a good man. Resolution IT6 by Legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and ask that you allow the legislature to vote on it.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Remington.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just like to extend my gratitude to Legislator Lombardo for working on this diligently to bring this resolution forward and hopefully this to a close.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Can you hold that? Mr. Chairman, that is 15 in favor, 6 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. I'm looking now for the appropriate motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.